Hello and welcome to this Warno 1v1 game played on Vertigo Duel between AntZGS playing as 1st US Cavalry, and he's going up against ClevelandBrown off that TV show, and he's playing as High Dynamic Range London. So we'll go through the deck reviews and then we'll get back to it. Right, so this is the deck review for Cleveland. He's playing HDR. I've got a pro guide to HDR. It's over 2 hours long, goes through it in great detail, how you should be doing various things, etc. There are a couple things I've changed since this guide because I got heli rushed one time. Basically, it's mostly the same, so I recommend checking that out. Basically, instead of the Hawks, I used to bring the Hawks, I now bring the EW plane, which he's doing as well. Our air tabs are actually the same. And I used to bring like a two vetted bloodhound and then a one vetted bloodhound, and then I got heli rushed one time and I found the javelins weren't sufficient. So now I bring like these down vetted, and then I bring the Starstreak LML in the Rover, which is nice and fast. I can't remember if I vet it or not. The idea being that against helicopters, like I got heli rushed, like it was a hippie idiot guy. Javelins and towed rapiers just aren't gonna cut it. So if you're going into ranked, you need the Starstreak really. So that's what mine looks like, and you see most of it's the same. Guards seem to be better than Rifles Patrol. But I do bring a card of Rifles Patrol. Everything else looks nice to me. Also, I swapped out one of my cards of Milans because I found I was running out of infantry. And I've got the Ferret Swingfire. So I swapped out a card of Milans for just another card of Guards. So you can do that if you want. And then he's got 3 cards of supply, which I don't know if that's really necessary. He brings the guard snipers, which honestly I might start doing again because the Rover Yeo man isn't as useful as... Because you need the regular scouts because they have AT, so you can't just rely on these because they don't have AT. And then the guard sniper's nice because of this. This is actually pretty useful if you use it in pairs to snipe AA and stuff like that, or just have all 3 at once. And I found that I didn't need Terrier scouts, and you'd still have 9 infantry recon there. This div does struggle with recon. I mean, I appreciate this is exceptional optics. This is exceptional optics. It struggles with infantry recon because its highest HP on infantry recon is 4. So, yeah, it doesn't bode well. But yeah, for the most part, he's agreeing with me, but like not having the Gazelle rockets is really bad. And so because what if there's a breakthrough of infantry? You can't always buy a bomber for that, So it's nice to have the Gazelle rockets. You really do want those. I think they're worth losing a card of supply for and then having 1 AP spare. Don't sweat the 1 AP spare. Do you know what I mean? Oh, I've lost 1 AP, but the point is that what happened to the helicopter? There was a helicopter in here. What happened to it? Oh no, that was my deck. Yeah, so you don't want to bring the Terrier Scouts and the Guard Snipers because the Terrier Scouts doesn't have AT. So you want to bring the regular Scouts. And you definitely want the Recon Helicopter. So how do we get that in there? I think it's because he's brought 2 cards of Centurions. So I just sack off a card of Centurions. And then you can get the Recon Helo. But obviously it's up to you how you build your deck. I'm just offering suggestions. His opponent, AntZGS, really good player actually. Last time I played against him he was on 6Y and it was a really tough game. This was back when 6Y was kind of broken. I have a guide on how to play 1st Cavalry, and it is 2 hours long, and not much has changed really. There's a couple things he's missing here. The Paved Tiger works now, it didn't used to work. I still don't really think it's worth it. The LGBT is 2 per card now, so feel free to bring that. I brought the A10, maybe the LGBT is better now because that's 2 per card. And then I like to bring in Fault for the ground surveillance radar, you'll notice, or Colt or whatever. He's got the CV, which is good, he's got the Abrams, which is good. I've got my Abrams at 2 vet. This thing is like... It's like a Bradley, so I don't think you really need it. But his infantry tab, right, he's got too much RT. If you're buying 4 howitzers in a high level 1v1, you're going to lose because your opponent's just going to run at you and you're going to die. And then in terms of the infantry, yes, the AT crew can work, the arm rifles can work. The point is that this is a broken unit and you need to bring it. And this is also a super good unit that makes you win forest fights. So not having either of those is a really big problem, and you should bring those. He's got 3 cards of supply because of his artillery antics. Honestly, these days, it can be worth bringing this down vetted and then this for counter battery, and it will work really well for counter battery. So do consider that. This doesn't have a lot of range, but yeah, you can do that. This will put a CV next to it, counter batteries anything. If it's set up and it fires, and the enemy fires, and you have a CV next to this, you're killing him. So that's very important. I think I bring fewer Apaches so I can bring the Tow Cobra. Okay. And then, yeah, I don't think you really need this because I appreciate that it's cheaper than buying a Bradley. Right, but you have ATGMs in the Bradleys. But yeah, you can bring it if you want, right? I can't stop you. But yeah, you need the Engineer's M67 and you need the Engineer's Flash, otherwise you're going to lose every forest fight. So I'll just show you my deck. Oh, it got wiped, didn't it? So this, just copy that, and then, because I've got all 3 cards taken, but I've only got 2 cards of supply, you'll notice I'm bringing the cheap CVs and I'm bringing 2... He's got 2, right? But I'm actually bringing 2 cards of supply so I can bring another CV, so I'm not bringing this here, and then that's allowing me to bring the extra infantry, basically, and I've got 1 fewer plane, I think. Yeah, I don't have the Paved Tiger thing, because it's like, this is... It's nice to have. The idea is it reveals radar AA, so you can blow up the radar AA, so you can air spam with your 4 bombers. So I don't think it synergizes with what you want to do with this div, which is buy loads of tanks and run at people. And I think the price you're paying is too high in terms of, you know, not winning any infantry fight ever, right? And yeah, I think I got rid of the... So I can bring this AT group. This, I think you leave down vetted. The Engineer's Flash, you could probably 1-vet. It's been a while since I played it. No, I've got them down vetted. And then, yeah, I've got 2 cards of supply, so I can bring 2 more CVs, but he's got, you know, he's got stuff there. It's like, oh, 1 AP spare, 1 AP spare. Whoa. 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 Right, so with that out of the way, I appreciate it's like, oh, go watch this 2-hour video. I get it, but the point is, I'm sick of saying the same thing over and over again. So that's why the pro guides exist, and if you want to learn more about the decks, and it's got lots of examples in there, you can watch them both right now. Essentially, quick summary, 1st Cavalry should win this pretty straightforwardly. The main issue he has is that HDR London can bomb his tanks, but his tanks are super fast, so as long as he's in the open and he micros properly, he can dodge the Canberra just fine. He's got good fighters, actually it's this fighter. His ground-based AA is fairly weak, but the point is, as 1st Cavalry, you're on the good side, right? You just play it slow, okay? You just play it slow. You take this at the start, right? And this and this. This, obviously, just set up a couple defensive units there. He brings that 75-point toe thing. You can have it. It's good if you want. It's good for defending ground. It's a bit expensive. I mean, there are better options. Well, there are better units, but not in this division for that task. So yeah, just a bit of recon there. Come up here, and then you... Blue's first priority should be to take this, right? The point is that your AA isn't long range, and your units are expensive, so you don't want to play wide, because if you play wide, a plane's going to come and snipe the guy over here, and then he's going to come snipe the guy over here, and you need loads of AA to cover that front line. So you want to play narrow. So just a few defending units here. If he's going for this, you'll see him coming. It takes him ages to get there. You'll be able to stop him just fine. And then you set up here, right? You get a smoke mortar or whatever, because there's going to be some ATGMs in here. And then you come take this, right? Once you've taken this, you don't have infantry ATGMs, but the point is you can't reinforce down this road. You can't reinforce down this road because you've got TOW 2s and you just, you know, plonk one there, right? And you can't, and then you come across, and then you take this, and then that stops the tick. now Red, being on the bad side, has this horrible problem where his front line is that. So he's got a really long front line. Your front line's quite small, so that if they come in with a bomber, your AA is covering everything because you don't have long range AA. And then you either pressure India if you want, just force him to buy loads of stuff there, or because you're already here, you cut across to here. Then he can't reinforce this zone. Then you just come take this zone. So that's how you win. This map is very imbalanced. I really don't like it. There is a vote for the ranked maps. Please vote for all maps, because I'm sick of just only playing Vertigo, right? If you vote for all maps, if there's a map you don't like, it's very watered down. Otherwise, you roll in the dice, you might get the map twice as much if all maps doesn't win the vote. So do be sure to vote correctly. So, looking at the deployment, he's not doing any of that. He's spreading all his tanks out all over the place, and he's trying to cover them with short range here. Switching to his opponent. We got a guard sniper coming to. That's quite aggressive. You probably want to go in for this building, but whatever. The Fox is coming in here. He's got Terrier scouts, not the regular scouts, so the scouts don't have AT, which can mess you up in certain matchups, but here it shouldn't be a problem. He's trying to drop an SAS in there. Not sure about that, right? Because if you think about it... Well, I suppose the Aero scouts are going to be... Which he hasn't passed. That's a shame. He is a good player. I don't know, maybe the other guy started too quick on summer. Yeah, it is what it is. And then, yeah, another guard sniper. Fighter to cover the guard snipers. I think that's fine. You would want a ferret swing fire there. A ferret swing fire there. And honestly, I think your main push should be, as Red, you want to take this. Because it's just to stop him from doing what I just said. If Red has this, you can put an ATGM in there, and he does have infantry ATGMs, and then Blue can't reinforce here, right? And then you can control Delta more easily, right? And it's easier to hold on to Anna, because when they come down here, you shoot them. So this middle point is actually extremely important for both players. The issue is... he's sending quite a few guys there. It's just there's no... I suppose there's a Centurion, but... And he's got this ferret swing fires. Okay, so he is doing it. And he's got some guards going over on the left. Yeah. Let's cast the game. Right, so they're off, and it's time for me to thank the generous channel joiners. Generously joining the channel, they get their names on the screen, they get the videos early, they get members exclusive videos. These are the same plane, but he fired his missile first, so he's got a small advantage. Okay. So that this Phantom will be up before this Phantom because it got less damaged. At least it didn't die. Sometimes that happens. Same plane goes against each other and you lose yours and he doesn't lose his, and it's like, okay. So as you can see, this has gone too far, as was suggested. This starts further forwards than the Chinook. But the Chinook is a little faster. And yeah, he needs to right-click the Black Hawk with this helicopter. Whoa, look at that! The HMP, it's like a double 50 cal. So usually it doesn't really matter, but if you drive right into it, it's going to mess you up. So he needs to run away, the Avengers is going to kill him. But yeah, Blue, just playing the div wrong. At the end of the day, like, it is, you know, people kind of rail against this. I'm not sure what his particular views are on the matter, but a lot of people are like, well, you know, I should be able to play differently. You know what I mean? What's the point in the deck building if you can't actually have useful choices? And that's a very good point. But, you know, we have to live in... This can smoke, by the way, so he could have smoked and survived there. I'm surprised it did that much damage to begin with. You'd expect the grenade launcher to win. This could have landed or ran away. Maybe it would have got away. This can smoke as well. And so if you're playing... It's not War Game Red Dragon, where you play as the US and then you build the div however you want. You can basically build it like 9th US, or you can build it like 1st Cavalry. Like, this has smoke. She's not paying enough attention. At least the CVs are coming in and everything. So you have choices, but in this game, because the divisions... Like, honestly, I think it's fine that it's like that. And you see now the fact that this doesn't have AT becoming a big problem because now I can't do anything to these. So that's why if you're going to bring Terrier Scouts or regular Scouts, you need the regular Scouts for the AT. Oh, it's on defensive, so it was automatic. He might be able to hit it with the Fox, especially if it's facing this way, or it might just not work. I mean, it depends on those first few shots. So yeah, there's basically just a right way to do it, and yeah, it just didn't hit the first shots. If it had hit all those, then and he could have smoked there as well, but there's a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it, because your division has certain strengths and weaknesses, and generally there isn't too much choice. The base game divisions have the most choice because they were the first ones added, and they were, you know, they made them kind of generalist divisions. So you actually have choices in the deck building. Things like First Cavalry, there's like a couple choices. There are some choices with like what veterancy and stuff, but oftentimes it's just there's a throw choice and a good choice. I think his deck is mostly fine. He just really skimped on the infantry for some reason. He didn't bring his best infantry. He could have had Engineers Flash and Engineers M67, and then he'd win every forest fight, even against a div like HDR he'd win. But he didn't bring those, so... But yeah, the HDR div is almost one-to-one my div, so... the HDR deck's almost one-to-one my deck. So, yeah, despite this, I mean, First Cavalry does have a big advantage on this map, because he's got the better tanks. So these are the same plane again. Why did he turn away? That's what I was talking about, actually. So he did turn away, but he still fired 2 missiles, and his opponent fired 2 missiles, both of his hit and both of his miss, so he just killed him. So it can be very, very frustrating to deal with that. What? He should have waited to see if that had hit, because look, he's dead anyway. So if he just kept that going, it might have hit it, and then it would be dead, and then he would survive. And he could have sent this round to shoot that, but because he ran away, he guaranteed his death. Honestly, a lot of it comes down to these kind of split-second decisions, and it's like, well, how do I know? Just play 4,000 games of Warno, bro. I mean, watching these videos does help you learn, but you do need to do the actual... If you want to apply that knowledge. You know, the analogy I always... He was going for the Black Hawk, wasn't he? Avenger got him. The analogy I always bring up is if you watch sprinters, right? If you watch the Olympics every year, it doesn't make you an Olympic athlete. It helps in terms of, like, you will know... Because, like, the top athletes do watch the other guys play, because they see, you know, oh, this is how he does it. This is his strengths and weaknesses. This is what the course is like. This is how it might be in. But you cannot study your way out of, you know... It's like revising for a race, do you know what I mean? You gotta run, you gotta test your running. So this guy as well just sort of sat there eating up rounds. You'd want him hiding behind this. So honestly, despite Blue's really not good deployment, he's managed to sort it out, mainly because the Abrams just walked into Red, and Red lost 2 of his well, he lost 1 and had 1 more damage just by bad RNG. And imagine, so if that fight had gone evenly, well, this would be gone. Then this would be free to come and kill this Abrams. So air RNG is, sadly, it's quite important. But yeah, I mean, he's too far out, because he doesn't have any armor or anything. He's just sat in these little places with infantry, and the armor's just going to find the angle and just come and kill him. So he should have these in the town, but... It's, like, if I was playing against a player of similar skill level to me, and to be honest, these guys seem pretty similarly matched, and I was the HDR player, I would lose 10 times out of 10. Because all the tank player has to do is just keep buying the tanks. He needs some rapiers, and see, back to the AA point, the point about the AA, because he's fighting in 2 different places, he needs 2 different sets of AA, right? That CV won't kill that swing fire. Oh, it's going for the guard thing. So yeah, the swing fires are super useful, because even if they miss, they just fire loads, and the main thing is they suppress you, and they have smoke, and they have good stealth. So yeah, they miss loads, but that's why they're affordable. If they hit loads, they cost loads of money, so... And, you see, it's just going to keep shooting. It's just going to keep shooting. He's got the ATGMs with the tank, so that's smart. Wow, I mean, it really missed a lot more than you'd expect there. He's having a pretty bad day. Now you smoke this one and go back. He's stunned, so I guess you could keep going. Now you smoke. Yeah, get the side shot. That should smoke now. Now he just reverses it, which maybe he didn't have smoke. Maybe he'd already used it. So back to the point I made in the deck review about how if you buy loads of arty, you start losing on the ground because you don't have any units. But yeah, so it's open season on red to just drop helis in. Well, okay, the tracked rapiers have shown up now, but the point is they're going back because he doesn't have a front line, so they have to run away. So these can just land. This RT is quite cheap, but obviously if you don't use it, then it's expensive. So these have to run away because this can just walk in and kill them all. The red doesn't know that. But that means that these get in. And this is the issue with fighting on two fronts as first US Cavalry. That is not what you want to be doing as this division. It is the antithesis of what you want to be doing with this division. Generally, if you have a small number of expensive units, generally speaking, you want to play narrow. And if you have lots of cheap units, you want to play wide. Now, see, like, so imagine if that had died instead of the other one dying, and you see that it starts to compound. So, like, let's say that hit, well then that's another 105 points, and like, where's this guy going? But yeah, so blue is having some luck here, but he's not really using his tools. But he is winning here. But he's losing on Bravo, so I think red's played it really well, actually. He took mid at the start, he got an ATGM up here, and you saw that it cut the reinforcements. You know, he fights over here. Whoa, loads of tanks there. Can't kill that. I'll come over here. I am the more mobile div. I have lots of cheap units and, you know, decent cheap bombers that can be used to, you know, come in and take stuff out. So, I guess he can't see the SAS. He really shouldn't be buying planes. Because, so like, okay, so that killed someone. It cost 260 points. And the thing it killed was, what, 70? And, does he see that he doesn't know what's in it? Okay, he unloaded because he was worried about the ATGM. Or maybe this. So that has paid for half its value now. Okay, so if the game is going slowly, that's fine. You reload, you get it back. Right now, you're currently losing your zone. And so buying that at this point is very bad. You need frontline units, you need to get in here. But back to the deck review. Ah, what's he doing? He knows about the Phantom. He's just hoping it doesn't hit him. Didn't unload this either, he could have got that Phantom, but... Wow. Yeah, so if you just right-click it and leave it to it, it's going to do things like that, so you do have to babysit it a bit. Now we've got 1 versus 2 Phantoms, but I guess he's just... Oh, he's unloaded the AA, so that's good. Oh, the AA is moving because it does that when you unload it. It's a bit annoying, but there it is. You see, he's got, like, multiple things. Like, you don't just have, like, one ATGM trying to kill a heavy tank. It'll never work. But he shouldn't have bought all this arty. None of it is fired. None of it is fired. You have just lost 220 units. 220 points. That's another 110. You have lost 330 points. The enemy has killed 330 of your points. Because you bought a unit and it didn't do anything. So because I was like, Red had more units and now he's running out of units. It's because he obviously bought the planes and then he bought the arty, so he's had no reinforcements for ages. But yeah, he's in there, and Blue didn't bring the Engineer's Flash, didn't bring the Engineer's M67, so we can't deal with this. I think this is the one from before. Using the Black Hawk to scout, but it goes down. Fire, then smoke, or just smoke. Oh, yeah, he should have just smoked. I think he's dead now, because by the time he's also not smoking. Yeah, because it was so close, and it fires too. Yeah, it's a hard knock life, as they say. Both players doing their best to lose as much as possible. Buy arty, don't use it. But hey, it's cool that they're actually doing something. Because you get a lot of games where they're like, I'm just going to sit there. So it's cool that they're attacking. Cool that they're pushing. Sadly, he could have survived if he'd just gone back, but alas, that's out of ammo, which is why it's not shooting that. But, well, he had a nice flanking shot there. And now you got to move the Bloodhound and the Rapier. You need to move them after they shoot, or the arty kills them, given how expensive they are. He's not doing that, and the arty's now going to shoot at it. Although he missed somehow. Yeah. Meanwhile, Blue attacked here, but I guess the requirements on his micro were just too much, and he lost some tanks and stuff to that Milan to actually kill him. Yeah, like he had some more units here, but they've gone down. Mortars are pretty useful. If you bought them, it should be firing all the time. Firing or moving all the time. And these guys are just determined to buy as few ground units as humanly possible. He definitely has 2 of these out now. Like, you need reinforcements. So that, like, I mean, that just wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it. You got a Bradley in exchange for a 215 point whatever. At least he's finally bought the Tornado. Wow. Wow. He's very unlucky. Very unlucky, because he lost both fighter trades with identical fighters. At least that didn't die. Like, that does happen sometimes as well. Yeah, just didn't smoke in time, I guess. And he doesn't have any Shorad. Back to the point about the Javelin element, the other one, the upgraded one, Starstreak LML. In real life, that can shoot at. So he knows he's killed an AA piece, but there are 2 there, so he's just once again just flying over the enemy AA and hoping it doesn't hit him. And he knew there were 2 because 2 fired at the Harrier. So that was really stupid. So it is what it is. Air spam. Only bad players think air spam's OP, basically, because planes cost more than ground units. So as long as the way to beat air spam is just play slow. And just wait for the bomber to come and then kill it. And you might lose a sacrificial unit, right? But you kill the bomber, and you should have won that cost trade, basically. Yeah, he needs a javelin or something, I don't know. At least he's finally using his arty. Well, these aren't moving, so I guess he'll get it. But yeah, Blue not having the Engineer's M67 is really like a makes me think moment. Also, we spoke about the Gazelle rockets. Imagine if you had a Gazelle rockets here, that would be dead, you know. It doesn't bring that. Red doesn't bring that, so yeah, I think how many? So Blue has like what, 1 fighter left, maybe 2. 1 Phantom, 1 Tornado. They both got injured, but I don't think they died. So if he just keeps flying into the enemy planes and AA with his bombers, he's probably gonna lose. And said that, he's currently on a +2. But you wouldn't expect 11th ACAB. He's just done it again. You really, really, really got to get out of this habit of just, oh, there's a unit there, a biplane. I mean, you see these, or at least you know they're there because they've been around, they've been killing you before. He's not moved after it's shot. And, oh, hopefully I get through. Oh, I was really unlucky, but it's like, do you know what I mean? Gambling your life away and then saying I was unlucky. Well, why'd you gamble in the first place? Also, you weren't unlucky. It was just, I'm not saying he said that, to be honest, but just directly flew into 2 fighters with his bombers. They still got the bombs off, so he was lucky there. So yeah, this comes down to, because he doesn't have the, to be honest, this is sort of the thing you put Javelin in, but there it is. Because he doesn't have the Star Streak, he's using these to try and get the Apaches, because they have the range, but no recon. I mean, no recon with the tanks like this, you bring it round so it can... Oh my god. Oh, these 2... Yeah, I've got 2 fighters left, but I'm just gonna hope again. This was blocked by the hill. You see the efficacy of this? Looks like he's gonna get out there. Although these 2 might just hit him. Now he gets out, which is quite fortunate, frankly. Shouldn't really be what happened. You gotta be very careful. Like, you just, I don't know. I would recommend if you don't have many games, you should not play an air spam div ever. Also, this, because he knows that's around there, because it just fired at him. that should have gone on the tracked rapier, which is now out of ammo. But it should have blown up the previous tracked rapier position. It probably still would have got it because of the splash, because then it doesn't shoot you. So you always want to focus enemy AA. You'll notice like back here as well, there was an Avengers and a tank. He went for the tank. If he'd gone for the Avenger, I guess, is dead. So maybe he did get that, but he should have focused the AA, if not. So he could resupply this. It's in a pretty good spot. Although you'd expect the RT to, yeah, after these fire, you need to move them every single time, because anybody with any sense is going to hit the AA positions. So blue, I mean, blue still has the capacity to win this quite easily. Oh no. Oh, he's not looking. Oh, I can't watch. So, it didn't work last time and you almost died. Saved by the grace of God. Oh, I'll do it again. Now I don't have any fighters left. I got one tornado left. I know. I'll chuck it at this. See what happens. Oh, it died again. Oh, well, that's weird, isn't it? You know what they say about the definition of insanity? They say Far Cry 3 is a good game, apparently. I played Far Cry 4, I thought it was okay. Apparently it's very similar. You gotta climb the tower. You gotta just run more and more units into this guy until he runs out of ammo. So yeah, this now is base. Well, okay. I was gonna say it's open season, but it got hit. He needs like another Bloodhound here, I suppose, and he needs to resupply this. That Bloodhound died for obvious reasons. But yeah, blue is just constantly in this situation where he is a blob div, and he's got 2 weak blobs instead of 1 strong blob. Whereas red is quite comfortable with fighting everywhere. He's got the helicopters to deploy guys, I appreciate. First, US has like a couple recon helos that it can use to deploy, you know, get some Black Hawks, but certainly HDR has more, its units are cheaper. So the fighters are down now, which actually makes this a pretty good idea. And he evac the right way, although that was automatic. I'll give him the credit anyway. That's on an attack move order, so as soon as it leaves the range, it starts moving. Whereas if it was stopped, it would keep the tracking, unless it's on cover near some trees, at which point it would prioritize going into trees over keeping the missiles going, which is obviously the dumbest thing ever, but there it is. And it's this kind of situation where the Gazelle rockets would be taking names. They'd be killing all these, especially if you had a supply with them, which you do. He's focusing the AA, which is smart. It's quite in range. Oh, no. An unfortunate mistake to make. It's good that he's getting the Milan there. And actually, finally, Kaiser coming down there. He's getting the AA. Smart to go for the AA, because it helps your bombers. This guy, I guess, is probably on counter battery. And yeah, blue, he'd love to take this because there's not much there, but he doesn't have the capacity, because he doesn't have much AA here. If he sends a heavy tank there, a bomber's gonna kill it. This guy's still alive. Right, okay. Oh yeah, he doesn't have a recon helo. That's something you need the recon helo, because that's super useful for things like this. The recon helo and the Gazelle rockets. You send the recon helo, the Gazelle rockets are behind, because the recon helo can take a hit. The Gazelle rockets can't. Recon helo would survive this, because it's got 6 HP, would not survive the rapier. It'd survive any manpad. Which are the ones that are hard to see, right? This you should see, because it's got bad stealth and you're a recon helo. And then the Gazelle rockets come and whack him, get back, heal. HDRs are hard to play. I'd say it's like slightly above average. This as well, he should have a CV next to it at this point. One of the Humber things. Humber Pig or whatever. So if he's got 2 fighters and you've got 1, you try and bait him over your AA. And then the AA, because he'll be like, I've got 2 fighters, he's got 1. He'll dive, and then the AA should start hitting them. And then you turn around and, you know, it's hard to get it right. This does actually outrange him, so that was good. That was a good play. Sort of curled round, use the range advantage to sling a missile. You know, it's going to hit some of the time. He's only got 20%. Oh, he did it again. So, yeah, yeah. Now he's going to chase you. He did get in range because these planes don't turn very well. And now you can try and kill him, although you want to watch it because there'll be AA hit. Yes, and then he comes back. Good. It's good play. I do try and be positive. But no, it is. It is good. He's doing. Oh, he baited him over the AA. Perfect. That was perfect. That was perfect. So the enemy had 2 fighters. Yeah. Oh. And then he just flies over the enemy and dies. Well, it was going so well. It was going so well. Oh man. Yeah. The last one he sent died, so he sent another one. But he's out of ammo, so. So there were 2 enemy fighters. He was using his range advantage with the AA, so he couldn't. He didn't. His enemy didn't really want to go over here because he probably thought I'll get hit by the AA, and he's right. And then eventually his enemy loses his discipline and chases, and then the AA and the tornado kill the Phantom. So that was perfect. And then he forgot to give it an evac order or a move order or anything, and just flew over these, which are obviously going to get 2 shots off each. Pretty sure this one fired as well, so the chances of you surviving that are very, very slim. So that's a shame, but you saw the, you know. So yeah, it's very hard playing against First Cavalry on this map because the TOW2s just hose you constantly. The Centurions get 1 shot by TOW2s. The Chieftains don't, but they're really slow. They don't have the range. They don't have the max range. It's a Mark 5. You don't get the Mark 11 on this div. You do get the Challenger, but well, yeah, First Cavalry is basically built for this map. I don't think there is a better map in the current rank pool for First Cavalry. So the way this works is it shows you the location of enemy radar AA if it's switched on. So no care in the world. And because it's a drone, the radar AA can't shoot it. So then you use your arty on the AA, which, oh, what do you know? So this is something you need to be aware of. It's not a very common unit, so it's not surprising, because the radar can't shoot against drones, which is really dumb. The reason it doesn't is because it's like, oh, it could be used in saturation attacks, like a real drone. Like they use the real drones in them. He's done it again. I really need to kill that 35-point Humvee with my very limited supply of the only thing I have which can kill the enemy heavy tanks. So, yeah, I mean, it's still anyone's game because both players are really fucking up quite badly, but honestly, Red just needs to... Well, I suppose he's busy. He needs a Milan 2 in here. Although the CV would kill it, so... CVs are really, really good. Is he gonna smoke? I don't think he has it, otherwise he would. So, yeah, not spending his points. It's more than 2 minutes income there, I think. Might be exactly 2 minutes income. We can count. 200, 400, 90 supply. It was just over 2 minutes income. It was 530 or something. So, I understand the idea behind, okay, you use the paveway thing to reveal the radar AA, then you use the cool artillery to kill the radar AA, and then you use your planes to kill whatever because the AA is all dead. I get that from First Cavalry, but honestly, the slot costs on all of that, because the plane tab's like 3, 3, 3, 3. Yes, you can do it. You can do it. But I think it's way better to just be like, here's a bunch of 2 vetted Abrams backed by a bunch of fighters and AA, and I'm just going to slowly walk into you and kill all you guys. And if there's a forest, I'm going to win anyway, because I've got the flash, I've got the M67. So I think that's a preferable way to play the game than trying to build it like an air spam div, because it's not really an air spam div. So typically you'd want the EW in front, the idea being that it would get shot by the AA and then the bomber would hit the AA, because, well, he survived, but he might have died. I mean, they both got hit, so they're going to take ages to reload. Whereas if he'd come in and killed the AA, well then his opponent still has to buy more AA. Otherwise, when it reloads, he's going to get him again. So yeah, the Red's AA obviously is all mostly gone because of the drone. He just didn't react to the drone, and that's yeah. I mean, he had the swing fire chieftain combo. So the advantage of the chieftain, it's quite rare that you see that come through, but there it was potent, is that for the price, the pen is good. If you compare it to, so yeah, it's open season for Blue's air spam because the challenges are slow and Red doesn't have any AA, and he wasted all of his fires. He got unlucky like once, and the other times was just, I really want to kill this Apache. And now I've lost all my fighters. Because yeah, he lost 2 fights with Phantom versus Phantom, but only on one of them did he die. The other one he just got a little bit more wounded, so that's not a big deal. But yeah, if he had the Star Streak LML, that'd be doing a number on these actually, as they just keep flying around circles, because it's like a good javelin. I don't know where you'd put it. It doesn't go in the buildings. But yeah, I mean, First Cavalry, yes, you can build it as an air spam deck, and you see how the tools synergize, but I feel like that's just, if you want to do air spam, I'd play 11th ACAV, which is also an American heavy tank div with better air spam. So it goes back to the point about the divisions, and that's a very expensive supply, that's a shame. Goes back to the point about the divisions, and like, yes, you can play the division in X way, but almost always there's an optimum way to play the div. And if you don't play it the optimum way, you might as well have played another div that will do the thing you're trying to do, but better. So yeah, as a heavy tank American div with air spam would be 11th ACAV, because I'm pretty sure it gets the seed, and it gets more plane slots and better fighters, and it gets the IHOT, super useful. But its ground game is worse because the CEV is worse. He doesn't get the Engineer's M67. To be honest, 11th ACAV is probably just better in general. I was waiting for him to move this into the building, but it's routed. And when they route, they do really dumb things, like just walk around circles till they die. It's just very sad. But, oh, a good double shot there. There's good synchronization, because it stops your enemy from retreating. Which he's just not doing anyway, but that one gets smoke, unlike the one on 11th US. So he's bringing over the Apache to kill the exposed Challenger, and that's something you have to be aware of if you're just going to drive tanks into the open. Usually you'd expect something like an TOW2 to pop out somewhere, but he really needs to stop going forwards. The Apache's going to kill him. This has, you can send this up and hope, you know, smoke and hope, and yeah, and now send up the javelin to here, and maybe you get him, because like this smoke's going to fade and that's still going to kill you, because you can't, he's coming around from both sides, so no, it's just dead. That's also, like, these aim in 12 seconds, so if he was really clued in, he's just eating these Apache rounds, man. The javelin, he sort of brought it up, but yeah, of course. It doesn't have a gun on it, mate! Oh dear. Wow, okay. So he gets pretty lucky there with the missile hitting. Although I think maybe both would have fired because of how slow it is. It does have like a 40% ECM, so surviving the AA on its way out is not too surprising, but the fact that the first missile hit is... Anyway, yeah, you need a Milan 2 in air, move up the javelin, and then if you're red, basically your next step, yeah, put a bunch of ATGMs in here. If you still got ferret swing flies, that was a nice side shot. Back to the point about the chieftain that I interrupted. So an M60A3 is better in every way. Better fire rate, better speed, better against infantry. I think the accuracy's that was just slightly lower. But the advantage of the Chieftain is that it has higher pen, which means that even though it shoots slower, the first shot in the fight, right, at close range, because you saw that happen twice where it just sort of one-tapped the Abrams. I mean, the Abrams was already damaged in both cases, but in that case, an M60 with its 3 lower pen probably wouldn't have killed those on the first shot, at which point the, there you go, mass tanks. Typically when you buy a tank, you want like 2 IFVs with it, or at least 1 IFV, because the TOW 2 would be doing most of the work here. So yeah, the higher pen means that that first shot's going to do a bit more damage, even though you've got less range and everything. So there are very specific situations, which we've seen 2 of this game, which is quite surprising given the map and the matchup and everything. In general, it happens quite rarely, where the Chieftain's superior pen has actually made it do better than an M60 would in this situation. So yeah, you gotta pay a lot of attention with these tanks. Like, that was just a crit, but you know, his tanks are better, so if you have the lighter tanks, you really need to be paying attention. This is probably a good bombing run. You know, the fighters are down, you know, there's lots there. He gets 2 Brats, which are very expensive, and an M1 for his troubles. It doesn't all show up on here. But yeah, it looks like it's over for blue. I think both players, I wouldn't say they played bad. Like, they played pretty good in that they didn't just sit there. I mean, so some of the games. So I'm just going to sit there and buy Arty for 5 minutes. So they actually did attack. And you see he's using this for the recon because it's got good optics when it stood still. He really needs to stop doing that. So yeah, you'd put a Lynx Hellarm here, because it would shoot across. It would really help you with your... because it would be just getting free side shots, basically. You could try and put another one here. It obviously depends on the AA Sitch. The Phantom would try and kill it, but you've got the Rapiers. The Lynx Hellarm costs less than the Phantom. Okay, so now you know the Phantom's down because you just hit it. So now you can bring in the CV. Sorry, the Harrier. I was going to say he should hit the CV, but I don't think he could see it. Hello. Abrams going to shoot first there, yeah, because of the Chieftain just being generally shit. So yeah, you'd want a Ferret Swing Fire there or something, just something here to hit the pane across so you can get the side shots. Like, what is this doing for you? I guess the plan was to put it there. Watch out, this has 3 machine guns on it, kills helicopters pretty quick. Crack Rapiers could come up to hit it. You need to give it like a shift Q move order, I think otherwise it's going to stay on the ground and get... And then because it got blown up next to these guys now have low cohesion. So these things do matter. In the meantime, Red is free to sweep into here anytime he wants. He does need more ATGMs in here because the Centurions don't kill the M1s, right? Oh, but look, 3rd time this game this has happened. An M60 wouldn't have one-shot that. So the 7 armor and everything, it's that 3 extra pen is helping a lot. Obviously on the front armor it's not going to do a whole lot. And you should smoke now. Well, it comes from practice. I play the game a lot. But yeah, I mean, I don't really see how blue could win this anymore. So... Oh, okay. I was going to say, let's speed it up, but it looks like blue came to the same conclusion. So, ClevelandBrown, rank 551 with a 90% win rate. So he's clearly watching those hippie videos, and yeah, good for him. Because I don't think this is a Smurf. Because he's played some campaign. Smurfs don't play campaign. AntZGS, top 100 basically. This has been reset. He used to play like years ago, but mine got reset against my will, so maybe his was the same. So yeah, it was an interesting game, and there was like a lot of points of interest of, you know, interesting things happened. Lots to learn from. Those A109s, in the deck review, I don't think I have it. I mean, I might. Whatever. I hope you enjoyed that. I'll see you around. GG.